Everyone. Welcome to another Healthy Living Resources. Today we have a special guest, Jami Dellifield, to talk about making small changes towards a healthier you. So stay tuned. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Healthy Living Resources. I'm Amy Meehan, the Healthy People Program Specialist for Family and Consumer Sciences with OSU Extension. And today we have joining us Rae Baker and Jami Dellifield to discuss making small changes to work towards a healthier you. Thank you so much for being here, Rae and Jami, and I will toss it to you guys to introduce yourselves.
Thanks, Amy. I'm Rae Baker, and I am an OSU Extension Program Specialist, and specifically in the area of healthy relationships and family wellness for the state of Ohio. I've worked in Extension for 12 years. I've also had the pleasure to work with our guest, Jami Dellifield, for a good 5, almost 6 years, right, Jami?
Going on 6 years.
So we've done a lot of positive things for the community to help serve the community members throughout Ohio and beyond, as we also do work nationally as well.
Absolutely.
So Jami, would you like to take a moment and introduce yourself as well?
Sure. My name is Jami Dellifield. I am a family and consumer sciences educator in Harden County, which is the northwest area, kind of north central, a very rural county with about 33,000 residents. My focus area is healthy relationships and healthy people. And I do a lot of programming in the areas of mental wellness, behavioral health, parenting, and fitness. I'm a Zumba instructor and a certified yoga teacher. And so I'm very excited to be here today to just share a little bit about how we can make small changes over the next few months, right, to make ourselves feel a little bit better.
Yes, thank you for being here. And so I'm thinking healthy changes for a healthier new year. How do we make healthy changes, or what kind of changes can we make, Jami?
So let's just start by saying the first thing that we want to do is not always set ourselves up for failure. I think a lot of times when we begin to think about living healthier, one of the things that we want to think about is making smaller changes, not going in all full blown and everything has to change in what we're doing. So healthier changes that can be made. One, eating more vegetables. So maybe right now you're not eating any vegetables. So let's add one more vegetable every day. Eating more fruit, same thing. It's okay to eat canned or frozen fruits, or maybe make a smoothie with your breakfast or for supper. We can also think about how to add more movement. I don't know about you all, but I find myself sitting all day long. So setting our watch for every hour, moving for 5 minutes, getting up, standing, walking around. Another change that can be made is one that is to build more connection. And so maybe once a week or once a day, texting somebody, calling somebody who you haven't done, right? Don't be overwhelmed by big things. Start small and add things in. And then as you begin to add things, maybe slowly remove one thing. So instead of drinking the very large Trenta, drink from Starbucks.
All right.
Starting with, moving to the grande size. So not necessarily eliminating things that are negative, but reducing those things that are a little more negative.
Sounds good. As far as getting out there and moving, what are some easy movements, or what are some recommendations that you would have for us to make those changes?
So I guess let's think about different things that we can do. First of all, right, I am currently sitting. So one of the things that we could very easily do is everybody who's listening right now, just stand up, right? So let's just stand up and sit back down, and maybe stand up, sit down, up and down 10 times, or stand up, touch your toes, hold it for a count of 10. Big morning stretch, right? I don't know about you, but a great big morning stretch is always a wonderful thing, especially as we're sitting on the computer. When you're doing the dishes, lifting up onto your toes and then coming back down. That provides the counter for balance, which can be very helpful. So just lifting up and down. Honestly, when you get up to go to the restroom and take a potty break, take an extra loop around your house Instead of just walking to the bathroom and coming and sitting back down, stand up for just a little bit longer. So those are just little things that we can do. I find that using a chair can be helpful too. So sitting in your chair and just bringing your knees up off the floor, just a tiny little bit, right? And maybe extend your feet out in front of you, bring your knees back up. I like to sit on the floor when I watch TV, and I like to do seated forward fold stretches. Or you can just roll your shoulders while you're sitting, right? Just do a shoulder roll forward and backward. If you have a towel or a stretch strap, you can put it behind your back and do some shoulder stretches that way. And what about just simple finger stretches? So a stress ball, squeezing a stress ball, letting it go. Or if you don't even have a stress ball, just release together. All of those things help connect your body in a very different way so that everything isn't stagnant all of the time. So again, we're stressing today little changes, adding a little bit more movement, taking away a little less sitting and stagnancy. And there are many, many ways that you can do that.
Those are some great ideas. Those are some that you shared, some that I hadn't thought of as well. Those are things that are easy that we can do in our home. We don't have to spend a lot of money, go out and, get a gym membership. And I also think about these colder days. Those are great exercises and movement ideas to do during these colder days of we can't get out as easy, especially if it's icy or snowy and if we're used to taking walks and things.
Well, and another little one too that someone told me actually when I first started driving, and this has stuck with me. Anytime you're stuck at a stop sign or you're at a stoplight, engage your core muscles and squeeze your glutes. So even while you're sitting right now, let's just say you're on hold or you're waiting for a website to load, stretch yourself up, engage your glutes, and squeeze your belly button back. And that engages feel the difference? It engages your core in a very, very different way. So I hate sit-ups. I hate burpees. I do not like them at all. And so just driving down the road, those little tiny stops, or while you're waiting for a website to load or waiting on hold for a telephone call, engaging a muscle can make a big difference as well. And it's small. But it adds
while we're sitting here doing a telecast.
Exactly. Everybody breathe in. Okay.
Right. Okay, so we've got some ideas for changes. What are strategies to help us to make these changes? And I don't know if anybody out there's like me, but what are some strategies to help stick with it and not let it fall to the wayside?
All right, number one, who are you bringing along with you? We know that we as human beings do better with connection, and we do things more positively when we have some accountability. So that accountability can even be with yourself by making a goal chart and crossing off each day that you did that. Now, the key to that though is that if you miss a day, please don't say, oh, I missed a day, it's all over. That is not what we're going to do. We're going to just start again. It takes about 30 days to build a habit. And so we're going to give ourselves grace that sometimes, right, we need a rest day or we need to keep moving. So some sort of chart can be very helpful. An accountability partner who's checking in with you, who's walking with you, who is saying to you, oh, you do not need the corn nuggets right now with dinner. How about if we have a salad as an appetizer instead, right? Or maybe instead of the double order of potatoes, let's order green beans.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right. Or maybe you don't need that extra, like I said, that extra tall Starbucks, bring it down a little bit. So is somebody talking with you and helping you stay positive? There are lots of accountability groups that you can find. We've recently, with an extension, we have a multi-state accountability group called Walkaway, the 30 for 30 challenge with cooperative extension places from it was started in Georgia, and we jumped on the bandwagon here at Ohio State. And it's been a wonderful accountability group where you post a picture of yourself and say, I moved for 30 minutes today. And, you hear different tips and tricks. Locally, there are some in our community where people are doing that, to connect you with a walking partner or sharing recipes that are, maybe you want recipes that have less sodium. So sharing those recipes out. Again, I think the biggest part of all of this when we're talking about building habits, and sometimes I feel, and I don't know, Rae, if you feel this way, I feel like a broken record. I feel like I say the same things to myself and to other people over and over again. It's okay to start every day new. And it's okay to fall back and slide, right? We're all going to make a mistake. But what we want to look at is, how do you stay positive and how do you encourage yourself for the things that you did well? So instead of saying, well, my goal today was 10 glasses of water, but I only drank 8, saying today I was able to drink 8 glasses of water, when 2 weeks ago, maybe I wasn't drinking any.
That's
and
good.
So
focus on what you did do, not what you haven't done. That's
absolutely.
Even if it's just small steps.
Absolutely. And it's so difficult to do because we live in a space where negative words win.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so for any of these changes that we're doing, little accountability, making a checklist, finding a friend, staying positive should be at the top of all of that, because we need to focus more on where we've gained than on where we've lost.
That's good. And I like that you had shared earlier about finding a friend or someone to anchor you that holds you accountable. It will help you wake up in the morning to go and do some type of exercise, for example, if you have someone there to do it with you. It's so easy to hit snooze and just stay in bed. And if you know that someone is going to meet you or be there to exercise with you, I think those are great strategies to help keep us motivated. I think you were talking about talking to yourself and not getting down on yourself and looking at the positives for what you've done during the day instead of what you haven't. Are there like certain types of words we can use that will help us, like focus words or?
Yeah, I think that's a great thought. So many times, right, at the beginning of the year, people choose a word to kind of center them. They journal on that word, they do more research on that word. And so in the past, I've used words like rejuvenate. A big one for me right now. My focus word right now is breathe.
Good one. Yeah.
I am having a hard time not being overwhelmed with what is coming. Staying grounded in the moment. So presence is a very good one. Mindfulness is a great word. Mindfulness, as we know, is a bit of a buzzword sometimes, but it shouldn't be a buzzword, because mindfulness is about being present wherever you are and being intentional about being in that space, in that time with those people. So giving yourself permission to put away the phone, giving yourself permission to be where you are, doing what you're doing. Some other great ones are fulfillment, maybe rejoicing, gratitude, happiness, laughter. One year, my whole entire thing was just laughter. And again, that negative voice comes through a lot, right? And the busier we get, and I don't know about you all, but we're living in that space where we're sort of in person, but we're still online, but we're not, and we are. And so we're meeting in person for church, but we're not talking to each other, or we're meeting in person for groups, but we're all socially distancing. So we're not necessarily feeling like we can connect as much. So I started to feel myself really overwhelmed. I was very overwhelmed by feeling alone. And so I intentionally sought places where I could laugh, where I could giggle. As adults, we stopped laughing, and that's very hard for us. So pick a word that resonates with you. Pick a word that, honestly, even the word healthy or healthier, right? That's important, because then you're thinking, oh, am I making the healthiest choice for myself right now? Am I doing what is going to be positive for me, for my family, for my friends? And there are lots of places that you can, do some word exercises. The internet is full of wonderful, wonderful things. We just want to remind everybody, as you're doing that, though, look for things that are research-based. Look for things that are grounded in .government, .gov websites, .edu websites, finding things that are going to actually be helpful to you and not necessarily feed into that negativity, because there are websites out there that we know that do that. There are TV shows out there that do that. There is music out there that does that. So as you're finding that, stay positive, continue to seek that, I guess would be the best way to say that.
Good. And I have some friends that have put their words on the refrigerator, a place that you see every day, or on the mirror when you wake up, and then you see that word, or even a little phrase that helps you stay focused. That's something that's worked for some of my friends too.
Well, and when we talked about accountability, a lot of times individuals will do it as a group. So what word works for your group? Mm-hmm. And then everybody is in that same place. And it can become, kind of your own little inside joke with your friends as you text and snap and Instagram and all of those things that we do.
That's a great idea. And that brings ownership to the group, that you've all chosen that word together. And then you focus on that word and then have those inside jokes. And I like that. Yeah. I've never heard of that strategy. That's great.
We did that with the word fearless. And then my friends and I all did a mud run.
I like it.
Look at my face. I'm like, oh, I never thought that I would find it interesting and to do obstacles and go through mud. But let me tell you, it was a pretty empowering day. And that led, and I'm usually pretty fearless, but that was a little out of my comfort zone. And we were, as we watched all of these other women, battle through some things and overcome their own challenges. So we were fearless and chose things that year in our exercise accountability group that helped us overcome those sorts of things. So, and then we had shirts that said we're fearless and had a good time.
Oh, you even got matching shirts for everyone?
Yeah, we made, that's the joy of a cricket, right? You can make anything happen.
Right, crickets are great. But you're bringing that connectivity not only through getting together, physically, but taking it a step further by uniting everyone with the t-shirts or a word. That's powerful. That's empowering.
The biggest thing, right, with that is that when you're saying the empowerment part of it is huge. And so for anyone who's listening and thinking, I can't do it, guess what? You can. Every little bit makes a difference. So you will slowly find yourself empowered in ways that you never imagined that you could be, just by making those little tiny changes. Again, one more vegetable a day, one more piece of fruit a day, one more positive thought a day. A lot of times when the negative thoughts come in, I imagine myself sticking them off in a little box. And I have to say negative, or I say thinking too much, or I give myself permission to put them someplace else. And so give yourself permission to eat the ice cream, but give yourself permission to eat the fruits too.
Right.
Right. Give yourself permission to have a day where you do nothing but lay underneath a blanket and watch movies that are empowering. You know what I mean? That make you feel good. Give yourself those days of rest, but also believe in yourself that you can get up once in a while. And, just because it's cold outside and it's 4:30 and we all want to put our pajamas on, you don't have to.
Right.
We don't have to. So.
Down days are healthy too.
Down days are very important.
Very important. Healthy changes for a healthier new year. I mean, to schedule downtime and work in downtime if you haven't in the past. That's very important to have that rejuvenation time, that reflection time, that like you're saying, even time to just do something mindless and enjoy a series or binge watch something. Absolutely.
Which is so easy to do, right? I mean, when's the last time you sat in a bathtub just to relax in a bathtub, or took the extra 5 minutes in the shower just to, like I said, just to breathe? Give yourself permission for that as well. That reflection time, a lot of times we don't want to think. Right. And that's where these small changes start to happen, because I have found sometimes that when I start putting myself in a position where I'm making choices that are better for me, I have more time to reflect on where I've been unhealthy, and I don't always want to do that.
Yeah.
And so it's easier to go back to the unhealthy habits than it is to deal with what's in front of me with why I maybe chose those unhealthy habits. And so those periods of reflection and those periods of downtimes are healing, and they're vital to where you want to be potentially. And remember, you've got friends and you've got family. And even if you're feeling alone, you're not. There are people who will support you. You can always reach out to us. We're happy to give kind words and any support that we can. We have lots of resources, the Live Healthy OSU blogs, lots of Facebook pages. We are here in your communities, right, to support you and encourage you and your families. And so I think that's important for people to know too, that sometimes you feel you might be alone, but you're not. As you're making these changes. There is support there. It may not be easy to find, and you may feel overwhelmed by that, but ask those questions. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
It's good things to think about. And I also think, if you're taking downtime and you're binge watching something that you really enjoy, well, Jami has just given you techniques that you can even do not to feel so guilty. You can sit there and flex your legs and bring your knees up and down and tighten those abs.
Exactly. Well, because there's nothing worse than laying on the couch and binge watching a show and realizing that it's been 4 hours, right? Exactly. Later, and you roll over and go, oh my gosh, I can't move. So, right. Every time it says start again, no, stand up, stretch, touch your toes, do a couple squats. Right. Those are always good for everyone.
Yes, and they are, and they get the blood flowing.
Absolutely.
So can you help our listeners or share with them how to look for reputable resources?
Sure.
You shared some resources a moment ago, but how do they go about actually finding them?
So the easiest way to do that is for anytime you put something in a search engine, type your words. So let's just say I'm going to type breathing techniques. So I'm going to type in breathing techniques, and then I'm going to write the word site, SITE, type a colon, and then I'm going to type .gov. That's going to bring up all of the government resources about breathing techniques. Nothing there resonates with me, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to type site, breathing techniques, site, SITE, .edu. Then it's going to pull up all of the amazing resources from our educational systems, from our colleges, our university, the research that's being done. Again, fantastic. Hopefully something resonates with me. If not, then the last place I'm going to go is I'm going to type in breathing techniques, and then I'm going to put site, .org. And then I'm going to look at the .org. So those will be maybe the Yoga Alliance or the Pranayama Society or all of these different places, right, that focus in their work on breathing and how to make you healthier. So we use .org last, just so in case anybody wonders, because sometimes .orgs might have a political or a bent that may not be your personal beliefs. Doesn't mean that it's not good information, but you want to make sure that you're looking first to stuff that is absolutely always based in research and not necessarily going to say, hey, give us $50 for our information. Because right. And it's not negative, and not everyone does that, but you don't want to accidentally end up on a site where somebody might lead down a rabbit hole that's not always the healthiest. That's right?
Great information. When we live in a world of so much information, knowing what's reputable and where to go and how to look for it, those were very helpful directions to help everyone find that reputable site to help them with these techniques and different things and different resources that you may be looking for, other than even what we're talking today about.
Right.
So do you have some examples for us to show us some different exercises we can do, Jami?
Well, I
know
suppose.
You were talking earlier.
I know.
We might do this today. I might get you guys out of your chairs. Sure. Would you like to do that?
Well, yeah. Why don't we just take a minute, and why don't we just everybody focus in just a little bit? And as we do this, I just want to remind everyone that when you exercise, your body and your brain release wonderful, amazing, feel-good chemicals. So in case you aren't aware of that, oxytocin, dopamine, all of these serotonin levels, everything will increase to help you feel better. So it's not just, there's a lot of research behind what we're saying. I know we're not citing all of those things. And, this isn't an academic sort of talk in that way where we've got all of that information for you, but it is scientifically based. And just know that when you do these sorts of things, there's a lot happening up here where things are firing that you don't necessarily see to help your body connect, which is really important, I think. Yeah, and that is true whether it's a connection with somebody or physical activity. So as we begin, and I'm on a blurred background, but let's just everybody sit up tall in your seat. So wherever you're at, if you're sitting in a chair, go ahead and come to the edge of your chair and put your feet flat on the floor. And we're going to start by just literally taking your hands and put them down to your sides. And you can clench your fists if you would like, just to add a little more resistance. And we're just going to lift our arms to kind of a T and then back down. So we're going to do 5 of those. 3, 2. I feel like we should play some music. I could start singing, but nobody would really want that, right? So there's a little one. The next one, you're going to sit again, keep your feet pushed into the ground and just lift your arms like you're pulling up a bucket. And if you feel yourself really shrugging, kind of allow yourself to feel that extra shrug. I don't know about you all, but that is not a motion I do very often. I do not pick up buckets very often, right? No. All right, the next one, arms up. And again, even if your arms don't go all the way up, let's just say your arms are right here. That's perfectly fine. Just bring them down and back up. And so extend them out as far as you can. Any movement is good. It does not have to be right all the way up. We don't want anything to hurt. We would love everything to just be gentle. All right, next one, we're just going to put our hands on our knees and take your right ear towards your right shoulder, which I'm going to have to do opposite because we're on camera. And a big breath in, big breath out, and then switch sides. And as you're doing this, allow your shoulders to drop. Many times when we do this, we shrug our shoulders up. We want to let our shoulders drop. Back to center, chin to chest. And look up. Hopefully you feel things moving a little bit.
Feels good.
All right, and we talked about shoulder rolls before, but one that's really easy is just to put your hands out in front of you and take your left hand and grab your right elbow. Just stretch across your body.
I'm trying to do the opposite.
I know it's hard. I think I might have said it the wrong way. And then just switch sides.
You're good.
And then the last one, go ahead and put your hands behind you on your chair and just slowly push up. Your bottom may come off the chair or it may not. So those are just little changes that you can make in your own body for physical wellness. And like we've said before, let's concentrate on what we're going to add slowly and what we're going to decrease slowly. So for that one, right, yay for us, we just took a few minutes where we decreased our sitting and we moved for about 2 minutes. And we're going to continue to do that as we move forward into this new year. Little tiny changes will make big impacts, and just 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes a day, slowly move up, add a little more, and then take away some of those things that maybe you feel aren't your best choices. And I don't know what your best choices aren't. I know what mine aren't, right? I know where I need to grow. So your self-growth is on you. And I know that you can do this. So,
well, thank you so much, Jamie, for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Rae and Jamie. This was a wonderful conversation, and you shared some great resources and tips. I really hope our listeners enjoyed all of that. I know I did. And like Jamie mentioned, we have tons of resources to offer through OSU Extension between the Live Healthy Live Well blog, the Live Smart Ohio blog, our Facebook pages. If you ever feel like you need support, please don't hesitate to come to us or reach out to your local extension office. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.